Where am I? What happened? What was that? Wasn't I supposed to be... Can I even do this? Did I do enough research?
You may enter.
I guess now's when we find out. I think I've prepared enough for this. Oh!
Miss Nadine, you have come here today to defend your dissertation on conflict, commemoration, and national unity in South Africa, Rwanda, and ancient Ugarit.
Yes, but what am I doing here?
I am about to reveal to you what really happens behind the door. You have now entered a battle of the wits. You have just over 8 minutes to answer and evaluate our questions. You will rise up in levels, facing a professor at each one. Do you accept the challenge?
The challenge? 8 minutes? A battle of the wits? This wasn't in my notes. Can I even... After all the hard work I put in, I accept the challenge.
You may enter.
Let's do this.
I'm ready.
Is that my TA from first year?
Yes, it is I, Dr. Dakota Blossom, and I still have my doubts about you. I bet you can't answer this question. What is commemoration?
I can do this. Commemoration is to legitimize and remember the occurrences of the past. There are religious, social, and political influences all throughout commemorative practices, which also have an effect on them in return. Statues, pictures, social gatherings, education. All symbolic imagery to bring something or someone from the past to the present, to remind everyone of the impact they made.
Color me impressed. You've leveled up. The door to the next challenge is that way. Run, Miss Jenna, run. You only have 5 minutes left. Who's next?
I'm Dr. Ying.
And I'm Dr. Yang,
And we're visiting professors from York University.
here to oversee your dissertation defense.
All right, I'm ready. I know I can take whatever you have in store for me.
Think it through, bro.
Are you sure you can handle it?
Yes, ma'ams.
Alright, do we have a question for you?
What are some examples of commemoration of conflict in South Africa?
The driving forces of the negative racial relations all throughout South Africa are memorialized through statues, such as Cecil John Rhodes, British mining magnate and pillager of resources.
And what about Rwanda?
After the Rwandan genocide, commemoration occurred in the form of displaying the bodies and bones of those who died to remind the public of the atrocities that occurred. National burial ceremonies also occurred to return dignity to those who died in extremely traumatic ways and induce reconciliation with Rwandan victims.
And what about ancient Ugarit?
Sure, from ancient Ugarit, along with most pre-biblical stories, commemorate warriors of their history as well as of their creation myths. Dead warriors are commemorated in a way that raises them to divine status.
Looks like you passed the test, in it.
The door to your next challenge awaits you.
Hurry,
You only have 3 minutes left.
Where's the next professor? Dr. Angela, my mortal enemy.
You may have broken my arm, but you'll never break my brain. On to the next question. Is commemoration of conflict good or bad in South Africa?
It depends. South African statues memorialize the wrong side of the conflict. Those whose actions led to the century-long subjugation of those indigenous to South Africa were the ones implanted into institutions and public property by the state, and not those who overcame said oppression. The South African public, however, does not agree with memorializations of even those figures. The attitude of the public to commemorative statues is rejective given their previous context. They also don't agree with government spending on something as trivial as public memorial.
What about Rwanda?
In Rwanda, genocide denial was becoming a prominent issue. The state decided to explicitly display the dead to ensure that didn't happen, as they were examples of material evidence. This was done in courts, in airports upon the arrival of foreign powers, and in memorial sites like the Kigali Genocide Memorial. However, they have begun to step away from the more grotesque forms of commemoration in recent years to portray an image of Rwanda as successful in its recovery from the genocide.
Despite the fact that you are my mortal enemy, literally the bane of my existence, I'm still rooting for you. On to the next challenge!
The last challenge awaits. Oh, it's you.
Huh. Yes, it is I, Rahel Nadim.
My little brother turned child genius who is in the process of receiving his 7th doctorate degree. What are you doing here? Wait, these weren't the glasses I had before. How'd you do that?
Ha. You're so foolish. I have telekinetic powers. I'm basically Matilda.
I forgot, little bro. You're a lot smarter than me. All right, I'm ready for the last question.
It is clear you understand the impact of these practices in more modern societies. But what of that which occurred in ancient Ugarit? How did they promote national unity?
Much of the texts found from ancient Ugarit explain how it was in decline by the late Bronze Age. Victim to the mysterious sea people and pirates. Were villages pillaged? Women and children killed? Like many ancient societies, tough times were characterized by lack of worship. Even the plague in ancient Ugarit was once explained by inefficiency in checking off every ritual that needed to be performed. It makes sense that the rituals of atonement, in which sacrifices of animals occurred, were nationally performed to attract deities and worship among them as an attempt to put an end to their difficulties.
I always believed in you, big sister. Go forth, achieve your dreams.
And he got the hoverboard too! How'd he do that?
Oh.
After this, they'll call me Dr. Jannat Nadim. It was all worth it.